Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public service announcement. For regular viewers and listeners of AWI Pod, please do not be offended, as this program contains good wrestling.
It's my life in the box in front of me. The guitar in my arms is the soul of me. You walk by, ask to see me lay face down. Your head by the door in your heart.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 18 of One to Attitude. I am your host, Brent Piles, and as you know, I do not roar to attitude by my lonesome. I have got with me the ballroom brawling, disco dancing, dynamite stretching, intercontinental playboy, folks. He's more over than slop buckets. GA Wrestling Nut, Glenn. Glenn, how you doing?
Not too bad considering, really.
Considering where we're at, yeah.
Considering where we're at. And I enjoyed this week's Raw, so that was a good thing.
Yes, it wasn't terrible, that's for sure. It's also, I was about to ask you if you got like a different camera or maybe something else, but the thing is, it's actually bright in there, and I'm not used to seeing you in the daylight. I'm used to seeing you in the
and I did
look a little brighter.
And I did clean my lens on the camera on the webcam.
Oh, well, that might
which
have
has
something to
helped.
do with it too.
So I did notice on Friday that I was looking a bit misty, so I thought I'd give that a spray and a clean up before it starts tonight.
I was feeling a bit misty, so I don't know. I didn't realize it. Or maybe I did subconsciously, because today I thought, man, Glenn looks extra bright today.
Plus, this time of day, the sun comes directly in that window there, so
I gotta ask you,
it's
Glenn,
a
have you
natural
always
light
had the
coming.
American Badass Funko Pop, or did you just get that?
Oh, I've had that for a while.
Well, goddamn, pal. Shows how much I pay attention. I knew you had all the other ones, but for some reason I didn't notice the Undertaker
he's been there the same time as the others.
Well, goddamn, pal. Shows how much I should have known you had an Undertaker one. Of course you would.
What annoys me is that somebody bought me an original Undertaker one, but I was still with my partner at the time, and she sort of frowned on that sort of thing. So her granddaughter got it.
Tragic. Well, Glenn, what can you do? Maybe one day you'll be able to get it. So they have
I've not seen them though. That's the trouble.
Yeah, other than the American Badass one, I haven't really seen a whole lot of them either.
No, the American Badass one is the only one that's around at the moment. So hopefully they'll come back in.
So, like, I have never seen it at the store or on sale anywhere, but they have an Undertaker Paul Bearer 2-pack. That I'd love to get my hands on that if I could, but I've never seen it around. We've only seen pictures of it on the intranet.
A small deposit down on a Davey Boy Smith.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, the trouble is, the way things are going, I'm probably not going to be able to afford it, because I've got the news today that my company's stopping paying me now while I'm off.
Well, those sons of bitches, Glenn. God damn it.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
the Women's World Cup starts this week, Glenn. I thought maybe we could discuss that a little bit. Both of our respective women's national soccer teams are a couple of the favorites in the tournament.
Yep. Yeah, they're in the top 4. There's the USA, Germany, Sweden, and England.
Yep.
Are the top 4 seeded teams.
Which England's probably top ranked, aren't they?
No, USA top. USA top. Okay. Germany second. Sweden third and England fourth, despite England being the current European champions. I can't work that out.
Yeah, especially because it's like two other European teams. That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense at all.
So the only thing I can think of is that UEFA are taking it on World Cup rankings and not including the current form rankings.
That's fair, Glenn, because as you know, we are back-to-back World Cup champions. Just want to say, back-to-back World champions. We're looking for a three-peat this year.
And can I remind you that the last time we played you, we beat you.
I remember, Glenn. Do you know who your first match is against?
I don't, to be honest.
I do know who the first match that the U.S. plays Vietnam in the very first game, which I imagine is going to be like the last World Cup. The last Women's World Cup we opened against Thailand, and we won 13-1. So I imagine Vietnam is going to be a lot like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a squash, you would think, wouldn't you? That one.
We also have the Netherlands in our group though too, so that might be a tough one. Which I think the Netherlands is the team that we beat in the World Cup final last time, but I could be very wrong on that.
I don't want Nigeria versus Canada.
They play Haiti, Glenn.
Haiti, all right.
They play Haiti, then they got Denmark, and then they play China. So which for me, you want to hear what the kickoff times are going to be in Central America? 4:30 a.m., 3:30 a.m., and 6 a.m. So I won't be watching any of those live, I don't think.
No.
Because it's in New Zealand and Australia, so like the kickoff times are very strange. Like the U.S. plays at like 8 o'clock, and then at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, I think even I'm going to be struggling to be able to see the games live at those if they're playing them sort of during the morning.
Right. Well, so 4 a.m. my time would be about what, like 9?
9, yeah.
9,
5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
8, no, it's 8. Yes, you're 6 hours, so it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Yeah, 10. Breakfast time.
All right, Glenn, that's it. We've done too much math, and now we're going to move on from the Women's World Cup talking about this episode of Raw, because we've done too much math, Glenn.
Yes.
And my brain hurts, so I forgot to open my notes, though, so I'm going to need to pop my notes open before I can start talking about this, because that's a very important piece of this puzzle. My notes.
It certainly is.
Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck I saw. Who knows what it was? Could have been anything.
I'm thanking Scott's Blog of Doom again for their help with the notes for this.
Shout out to Scott. I don't know if it's just one man named Scott, or if it's several men named Scott, or a whole bunch of guys.
I think it started out as one guy, but it's like a whole different people do different shows and that sort of thing.
Do you think everybody that works there has to be named Scott, or have the last name Scott, or name Scott, something like that?
They're a bit like the Monty Python Bruce sketch. You probably never see that. It's from the TV series. And,
I never saw that.
It's all Australians. G'day, Bruce. G'day, Bruce. Hi, Bruce. And what's your name, mate? Oh, my name's Gary. Oh, we'll call you Bruce to avoid any.
I love it. That's great. Yeah. A lot like that. That's what Scott's Blog of Doom is. Just a bunch of people walking around going, "Hey, Scott. Hi, Scott. Scott, how you doing, Scott? Good to see you, Scott. Scott, let's have lunch." All right, here we go, Glenn. Now I got my notes up. All right, it's Raw is War. I didn't put the dates down. It's April 7th, 1997. And Glenn, this is in Muncie, Indiana, at the Warthall Arena. And normally, Glenn, this is where I tell you, give you information about the arena. I tell you about old wrestling shows that took place at this place, and tickets to events that you can go to. But Glenn, this week I ain't got shit because they have nothing.
No, in Indiana you don't.
Got nothing for Muncie, Indiana. Not a goddamn thing. There's a pretty good show over here in the States. It's called Parks and Rec, and I believe some of it takes place in Muncie, Indiana. And that's the only thing about Muncie, Indiana that I know. Yeah,
we do get it. We have got it over here as well.
It's a great show. If you've never watched it, check it out. Really good show. Very funny stuff. But yeah, they had 4 Raws, and they all took place in 1997, and that's
all right. Because most of my American geography comes from wrestling.
That makes sense.
If somebody says a town, I know what state it's in because in my head I can hear Howard Finkel.
Oh yeah, that's good. See, us Americans, Glenn, we hear a UK and we just assume it's all one place. We just assume it's all one area. We hear if anything's happening in England, it's right near you, Glenn.
Yeah.
That's the way we think here in America.
Yeah, but so yeah, that's how I get most of my American geography is through wrestling, and I'd never heard of this place. So
Well, it's
it
not
obviously
very,
hasn't featured greatly.
no, definitely not. Not a lot going on in Muncie, Indiana, as far as wrestling history. Before the show, they show an opening, package of Mankind throwing a fireball in the Undertaker's face last week.
It
This
didn't look
week
any
also-
better.
Huh?
It didn't look any better this week.
I thought they did for most of the fireball spots that I've seen in my life. This one was one of the better ones. So
Oh yeah, no, that's what I meant. It looked gnarly. It didn't. It looked. It looked like it actually singed his eyebrows.
Oh yeah, okay. Then yeah, I'm right there with you, pal, because it really does look like they set that motherfucker clean on fire. Yeah. They let us know that Mankind is going to take on Psycho Sid tonight, or maybe he won't. We don't know. And then Ken Shamrock is also going to have a no holds barred exhibition, whatever that means. And we're also going to hear from Shawn Michaels.
I was quite relieved with that no holds barred exhibition when they said it was against another mixed martial artist and not some jobber that they're dragging off the street.
Well, we'll talk about that, but he looked like a jobber that they dragged him from. The opening match, Glenn, we get a tag team matchup between Owen, Hart, and the Bulldog. They are going to take on the Godwins. Bulldog and Owen back on the same page. As we've been talking these whole things, there's been a rift between Owen, but it's now been fixed by only one man that could fix it, and that's Bret Hart. And I think the reason why they decided to just bury the hatchet is because Bret talked for so long. They were like, fine, we'll just be friends.
Shut up. Okay, we've done it. We'll do it.
Well, fine, we'll be friends.
Talking about that, Owen did his own bit of boring everybody to. Actually, it wasn't a bad promo, but he went on a bit at the start of this before.
Yeah, he also sounded like he started to trip up on his words a little bit. The more he started talking, and a big, huge USA chants going on in the crowd for this. Yeah. That was super hot for this entire show. They really were. He thanks God for his brother Brett for getting him and Owen back together again, and he says that he knows Shawn Michaels is going to be here tonight, and if he says one bad word about his brother Brett, they're going to come down there and they're going to destroy Shawn Michaels. If he says anything about their brother Brett, so you better not say anything bad about my brother Brett, because you say anything bad about my brother Brett, I'll come beat you up because my brother Brett. He said brother Brett a lot.
Yeah, he did.
It was like Bret Hart saying belt.
And that Shawn Michaels should watch his mouth.
Which, yeah, I'm sure Shawn Michaels is going to do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the Godwins come out, and the fans haven't been this much behind the Godwins since they dumped the slot bucket on Sunny, because the fans loved the Godwins here. They were going ape shit, chanting, going crazy for the Godwins. This is a good tag team match, I thought. It
was. And to be fair, the Godwins got a fair bit of offense in at the start. Especially with old Phineas I, he went really loopy at one point.
Yeah, that was my favorite. That was my favorite moment of the match, is when he went hog shit crazy and just started beating the shit out of everyone. He was like mule kicking, and Hank Godwin had to get in there and hold him down. That was my favorite part. Reminds me of a cousin of mine named Mose, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I stole that from The Office.
And of course, Vince is absolutely raving with his hillbilly fixation. He loves the hillbillies.
Oh, yeah. Put these overalls on, pal. I love the overalls. They look great on you. And then, of course, Glenn, we can't have a match without a side-by-side promo. So we get from Shawn Michaels, who says not only is he going to upset Owen and the Bulldog tonight, but he is probably going to upset a lot of people, because it is, after all, live TV. And Vince gulped really, really loudly.
Yeah. Vince, I thought at one stage that Shawn was going to shave his chest, because Vince kept on going on about how he wanted to get a great weight off his chest.
One week had to have Bret Hart get something off his chest, and now Shawn Michaels needs to get stuff off his chest. So. like I said, really good tag team match. I thought Owen and Davey were really leaning in on the heel tactics here, which was really, really good. They get they distract the referee. You know, they were distracting the referee, got a lot of quick tags, letting the baby faces build to a hot tag. And oh boy, Glenn, we got 2 side-by-side promos during this match because we also heard from the Legion of Doom, and the finish even comes during the talk for the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, just as you're getting the babyface comeback, they cut to the Legion of Doom. That was a great bit of producing.
Yeah, good job, Kevin Dunn, you fucker, on that one. Yeah, because like Henry hit a slop drop on Bulldog, but the referee was still trying to wrangle up Phineas, and so Bulldog comes down off the top rope with like an arm to the back of Henry's neck and gets the 3 count for the win. And Hawk said some really weird things on his promo, so let's hear it.
Yeah, you need to hear it.
Well, Mr. McMahon, what we're going to do is knock the ever so rancid bile right out of your bladders.
Okay.
They're gonna knock the rancid bar right out of their bladders. Nice.
Couldn't you just say you're going to knock the bile out of their bladders? That would have been fine. Didn't have to be rancid. And then Bulldog and Davey are like leaving the ring, and as they do, LOD comes out onto the stage. So Owen and Davey start backing up, and then the Godwins are coming up too, and they've got the slap buckets, and they're getting ready to throw their slap on Owen and Davey, but Owen and Davey move, and the slap then instead lands on LOD, which causes all these 4 guys to just start brawling, and then Owen and Davey are kind of laughing at them from on top of the ring, which I thought was really,
really funny. It said here, it said, also, it's not like Hulk never woke up covered in pig filth, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. He's absolutely. Oh, we're covered in throw up? Yeah, one or the other.
Yeah.
We then hear from the Bulldog and Owen again, because we didn't hear enough from them the first time. They thought this whole thing with, this Godwins throwing slop on LOD was hilarious. They said no one in Canada or England would ever walk around wearing face paint or carrying slop buckets, which I find very hard to fucking believe, because I know y'all got a lot of fucking farmers over there in England. I know they got a lot in Canada. So somebody's got a slop bucket over there.
Yeah, that's very true.
And they call
it civilized.
The stupid American, which might be true, but it isn't very fucking nice. And then as they're standing there talking, Austin is kind of making his way out to the ring, and there's officials in between them, but Austin and them start jawing back and forth at each other as Austin heads to the ring. Next up, Stone Cold Steve Austin is making his way out to the ring, and JR says, business is about to pick up. And might that be the first time he said that?
It could be. Shame it wasn't true. Guess all that was the Honky Tonk Man came out.
Yeah, so the Honky Tonk Man had been on commentary for the first match, and then he had some reason left. He comes out with Billy Gunn, and so we think that maybe Honky Tonk Man has finally found his man. Perhaps, maybe we can only fucking hope, so he'll go away and we don't have to bring him back.
I laughed at this. He had all the bits of his guitar in a plastic bag.
It's the only one he has. Yeah. I somehow don't feel like this was going to end well for Billy Gunn, considering that he's facing Stone Cold Steve Austin, the company right now. Billy starts like taunting Austin to start the match, and then we hear from Owen and Bulldog again. This is the 3rd time we've heard Owen and Bulldog talk. Like, why on earth are they having another fucking side by side?
I know, it's ridiculous. Listen to other podcasts that are doing earlier versions of WWF. It seems that this was going on in the 80s as well. So this is nothing new.
Yeah, it's our buddy UTT Rob told us on Twitter that it's pretty much the same thing.
I think we're actually spoilt by superstars, you know.
That's true, because they don't really have side. Well, they do, but not really. And if they have a side by side, it's like for 15 seconds. Yeah,
and it's normally advertising something like SummerSlam or WrestleMania or something.
Or Ico Pro. Get your Ico Pro. Yeah, I thought this match went on a lot longer than it should have. I thought it should have been over in 2 or 3 minutes. But
it should have been a squash. Yeah.
Yeah.
It should have been just a squash.
Austin wins.
But I love it with Honky though, because he's trying to side with Billy Gunn, and Billy Gunn's getting beaten down by Austin. He's going, he's doing fine. Every match has its peaks and valleys, but he's doing fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so Austin, of course, wins with the stunner. Honky Tonk Man gets in. He said he wants to talk to this guy. And I was hoping that he meant Austin, so that Austin would give him a stunner, but unfortunately he wants to talk to Billy Gunn. And unfortunately, Glenn, we're gonna have to listen to what he had to say. So
yeah, go on.
And just because I came out here last week and I offered a piece of beautiful merchandise to Jesse James, and he was a complete goof, and he turned me down, I want you to know you've always been my first choice. I want you to go with a Honky Tonk Man. We'll get good clothes. We'll get you a nice haircut. We'll get you some sideburns. And I know you can shake, rattle, and roll. If you want to thank me, Billy, I know there'll be plenty of time for you to thank the Honky Tonk Man. Come along, brother. Let's go for a ride. Oh! What the heck? Oh, what a...
I've never liked Billy Gunn more than what he did there, because he shut the Honky Tonk Man up. And not only just for that, because he was nursing a punch on the jaw, he didn't speak for much of the rest of the show.
yeah, I was hoping that after this he would leave forever, but unfortunately he didn't. But you're right, he didn't say a whole lot more. So Billy Gunn's not the guy. He punched him in the face, like Glenn said. I was hoping that he was the guy, because I think that the Honky Tonk Man should go home and leave us alone. It's goddamn 1997. It's not 1987. We don't want to see your fucking ass no more. So go away.
Yeah.
But like, I remember Billy Gunn becoming Rockabilly. Doesn't that happen? Or am I just drunk? Did I make that up, like Midian with the eye?
No, I'm sure it happened.
Okay, so maybe Honky Tonk Man brainwashes him. I don't know. I don't know, because I thought he was Rockabilly and Honky Tonk was his manager, but maybe I'm way off base there.
I don't know.
I guess
Maybe.
we're gonna find out, Glenn.
Yes.
The longer we go, we are going to find out.
It's nice to have some things to look forward to.
Well, I don't know if that's a lot to look forward to. But it's just, we then get Doc Hendricks trying to sell us an Undertaker door banner, and I bet that'll help you sleep tonight.
Poor old Michael Hayes. He was a free bird, and now he's shilling on the bloody Undertaker posters in the foyer.
With a name like Doc Hendricks. And then, Glenn, I was very confused about this next segment. We get a guy out here dressed in a military outfit. He says he is the leader of the Truth Commission, that he is from South Africa. And he also informs us that Raw will be emanating from South Africa next week as well. He also says a whole lot of other stuff about Americans not having many laws and not enough democracy, and that the Truth Commission will teach us about true democracy, even if they have to beat it into us. He says the only person in the WWF who knows the truth about America is Bret Hart. We then got a promo from Bret Hart, and I would play this, but I literally couldn't really understand a whole lot of it, because it was like played through like a second source, and so it sounded kind of muffly. Yeah. And anything that I could understand was pretty much everything he's been saying for the last 2 weeks. So
that's right. All that was a house show. Something. Can't remember where they said it was. Here he was.
They said it was in South Africa, because then they showed Bret Hart coming to the ring.
That's right. Yeah,
South African flag.
Yeah, so it was a house show in South Africa, being anti-American and
right. And one funny thing that Bret Hart did say that I didn't catch his promo was he said that Psycho Sid has a $1 million body but a 10-cent brain, and that really made me laugh.
Yeah.
Not anything Sid hasn't said about himself in a promo.
That's right. And that commandant, basically, I don't know what they were doing with him, because they got rid of him really quickly. Because they realised that A, he wasn't South African, B, he couldn't wrestle, and C, he wasn't a very good talker.
Yeah.
So
Because they replace him with Don Callis, don't they?
They
Cyrus?
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they do. Who A could wrestle, B is a good talker, and C is a good manager. So that was a good swap.
And we'll probably get more into this when we see the Truth Commission, but I think they could have done a lot more with that guy than they did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. You probably know this if people don't know. He's one of the guys who runs Impact Wrestling, and while I don't watch Impact, I see a lot of good stuff from Impact, and if I had the time, I would watch it. So I just think that guy's a really smart guy, and he's really smart to the business. So I just think that they could have definitely done a lot more with him than they did. But anyway, the next thing, Glenn, is the most flamboyant, the most electric, the most whatever superstar that Vince McMahon wants to get into his pants and touch his balls. It's Shawn Michaels.
Just in case we didn't know that he was flamboyant and outspoken.
I'd heard that before.
Yeah. We'll work that out, Vince.
So Vince asked Shawn about the attack from Bret Hart a couple of weeks ago. He asked him if it has given him any more of a setback on his knee. He says that him saying stuff and getting beat up isn't anything new. Ask a bunch of guys in Syracuse. They'll tell you the same.
Yeah.
Let's hear a little bit from Shawn Michaels about how he feels of Bret Hart and how he thinks Bret Hart feels about him.
Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels loathe one another, whether it be out here or back there. Make no mistake about it, Bret Hart hates my guts. And to be perfectly honest, I hate his. Bret Hart has not just recently turned into a bad guy, he has always been a bad guy. The World Wrestling Federation exploits Bret Hart's family because he allows it. If Bret can make a buck, he'd sell his mother. That's the truth. I was second fiddle to Bret Hart for years here, and I did it with a smile on my face because that's what a man does when it comes to business. And then Bret Hart takes time off. He takes time off, he says, because he needs rest. What he did was take time off to see if Shawn Michaels and the World Wrestling Federation would fall flat on their face without him. Well, guess what? We didn't fall face flat anywhere. As a matter of fact, the World Wrestling Federation did the best business it has done in 6 years. You're the boss. Am I right or wrong? You're right. Thank you very much. Bret Hart is obsessed with the World Wrestling Federation Championship because he was born into it. If Bret Hart wasn't a world champion, he would feel like he had fallen short.
So, two things from that. The first thing is, I find it funny that Shawn Michaels would call Bret Hart an egomaniac and say he's obsessed with the WWF Championship. I believe, buddy, you're going to have to go talk to the man in the mirror as well. I'm not saying that Bret Hart isn't any of those things or wasn't any of those things in 1970. He might have been, but if he was, Shawn Michaels was every single bit of it as well. So I just thought that was funny that he was saying that stuff. And the other thing is, go ahead.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels was everything that he was saying. Bret Hart was there back in '96. When the last time he held the title, when he was trying to weasel his way out of every job he had to do, and
yeah. Exactly.
It wasn't.
And then the other thing is, he said there that they did the best business they did in 6 years. That is bullshit. That is not true. That's bullshit. I don't think that they did as good business in 1996 as they did in like 1992 or 1991. I doubt it. There's
probably not. No.
There's no way. It might have been better than it was in 95, but that's not saying a whole lot. You know what I mean?
No.
Either. And then Vince McMahon was cheesing so hard during this. He was like a proud father watching his son. You could just see it. He couldn't help but he tried not to, but he couldn't help but cheese.
Yeah, he was there grinning away. And of course, we get Owen and Bulldog out again.
But Shawn Michaels grabs a chair. They both start to back off, and of course they like feign like they're going to get in the ring a couple of times, but then like referees come out and they separate everyone. And nothing actually happens. It's just Shawn Michaels standing there with a chair. That's it. And the next, Glenn, is we have a Mayor of Superstars special match coming up. We've got the Headbangers taking on Barry Horowitz and old Freddie Joe Floyd, who is, of course, Tracy Smothers. And for me, it's always good to see Tracy Smothers, so that made me smile.
Yes.
We also hear from the poor son of a bitch who's going to get his ass whooped by King Shamrock tonight, and he looks like he weighs about 125.
And apparently the Honky Tonk Man has now got a chipped tooth, thanks to Billy Gunn.
Well, thank you, Billy Gunn. JR made a funny joke during this match about how Freddie Joe Floyd and the Briscoe brothers went to grade school together for many years. Which I thought was funny. JR probably got stretched for that one after the show.
Probably.
Not a lot to this match. The Headbangers, of course, get the win. And then they let us know that Psycho Sid is supposed to face Mankind tonight, but he still isn't in the building. And I'm wondering, has anybody checked the softball fields? Maybe he's there.
All right.
I don't know if you know this, Glenn, but old Sid used to love to play the old softball back.
No, I didn't know that.
Softball big over in UK, Glenn? You play a lot of softball?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
There's more softball and rounders played in schools than baseball.
Okay. I mean, softball's a fun game to get your friends together. You guys drink 9 beers, and then your buddy Tony sprains his ACL. You all guys all laugh at him, call him a punk, and then everybody goes home. I haven't done that because I don't like enough people. You have to have 9 people on the team, right? And I don't like 9 people. So there's no Next up, Ken Shamrock is going to take on. Did you take note of this guy's name? Because I didn't. I just put some poor bastard. That's it.
Victor Belfort.
No, I couldn't. Vitor Belfort.
No, it's not. No, even here he just got some poor MMA guy.
Yes. Some poor son of a bitch. So I mean, Shamrock looked great. Coming out of you, he couldn't say anything worse than they looked great. They also mentioned Tank Abbott, Glenn. I don't know if you heard, but they did throw.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did mention Tank Abbott,
which made me pop, of course, every time we hear Tank Abbott. I think this was supposed to be an MMA fight, Glenn, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100%.
Or it's supposed to have been, yeah.
Shamrock wins by tap out, but not in the traditional sense. This poor chap tapped out because Shamrock was wailing on his face.
He was beating him senseless.
And I don't know if he was like shoot punching him, but that dude was bleeding everywhere. So I don't know.
I think he was, because I don't think the other guy actually got the meaning, actually realized that it was a work. And he caught Shamrock with a couple of stiff ones himself. So Shamrock taught him a lesson.
Sure didn't look like that because there was blood all over the mat.
Yeah.
This was the times where they didn't change the mat either. So that blood stayed there for the rest of the show. So yeah, he busted this kid open hard ways. JR tries to interview Shamrock afterwards, but Shamrock only gets about 2 words out.
Vernon White is the guy's name.
Vernon White is the poor son of a bitch who got his face opened up here.
He was Vernon red by the end of it.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing Vernon anymore.
No.
Yeah, so Vader comes out. Him and Ken kind of have like a stare down. Then a bunch of referees and Pat Patterson get in the way. The funniest thing about this was Pat Patterson had a cigarette in his ear. I thought that was hilarious.
I think that was basically out the back, because Vader's got a match coming up and he was ready to. He's probably a gorilla, and they've got to get out there. He's not going to try and kill you. It might calm him down a bit.
Yeah, and I guess Vader's the only one who gets sent out there who wouldn't be scared, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
And then we come back from commercial break, and Vader's beating down some poor jobber in the ring. I didn't note this guy's name either. You got
Frank Stiletto. Frank Stiletto.
Stiletto. Holy fucking cow, Glenn. You think he's related to Joey Maggs?
He looked it, didn't he?
He's definitely related to fucking
Tony. He'd definitely been in the creator jobber mode.
Oh my God, Glenn! Hold on. I'm going to share a photo on the screen right now. Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see it with us.
It is.
There's old Frankie right there. Oh, Frank Stiletto. That son of a bitch. Motorboat and
forget about it.
Oh, hey, my mama makes the best pasta visual. So So 3 jobbers on 1 Raw, Glenn. Wow, boy, were we. That's why we love this show so much, because there were so many jobbers. That's why, Glenn. We fucking love jobbers. Oh god.
Well, this was all over in an instant, wasn't it? Really?
It really was. Yeah. We also got a little backstage promo for Mankind where he says he's got a special presentation just for the Undertaker tonight to say sorry for what happens next week. They then show Gorilla Monsoon, who tells us if Psycho Sid does not make it to the arena by main event time, that Stone Cold Steve Austin is the only guy that he has that can replace him. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin shows up and says, "Nuh-uh, I already wrestled tonight, and I ain't wrestling again."
Just before that, though, I love it when they're plugging the superstar line by saying, if you ring 9-6, you could hear about how violent it is in South Africa. No shit, Sherlock. We're in the middle of apartheid. Of course it is.
Right, you did have to tell us that. They also mentioned something about like a major fight that broke out during a nice party that was thrown. And I literally Googled and tried to find like information on this party. It might all have been bullshit that they just made up for their hotline, but I just wanted to see if I could find anything about it, and I got nothing. So, probably all bullshit. And so basically Stone Cold's like, look here, I'm not fighting in your main event tonight unless you give me a match with Bret Hart at the pay-per-view. And Gorilla Monsoon says, fine, if you have to wrestle tonight, you can have Bret Hart at the pay-per-view, because if you'll know, Bret was supposed to face Sid, but now I guess they're just going to plug Austin in since I guess Sid's playing softball or hurt his knee or he's making up crazy promos. I don't know what he's
doing. I know what happened to Sid, but I'll let you know afterwards.
Okay, all right.
Because at this point, we still don't know whether Sid's going to turn up or not.
That's true. That is true. Austin also said that he thinks that Sid's got a yellow streak on his back, which I thought was funny. So if Sid doesn't show up tonight, Glenn, we're going to be seeing Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at the pay-per-view again. But I'm not going to complain because I'll always watch Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart any day of the week. I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, next, Glenn. Mankind then comes down to the ring, and JR is going to interview him. He asks him why he burned the Undertaker last week, and good Lord, did Mankind cut one hell of a fucking promo right
It was excellent. This was superb promo.
We're going to play a clip from it, but I implore you to go back and watch this episode and listen to this promo, because it was probably one of the best promos he's ever cut. It was really, really good. But let's hear a little bit of it.
Engaged in some of the most brutal contests this sport has ever known, but I couldn't help feeling that when it was all said and done, the Undertaker know what it feels like to sit on an airplane with the stench of your own charred flesh in your nostrils for 14 hours, because I do. Do you know what it feels like to walk inside your home and your wife says, what is burning? And it's me! You ask me for excuses, I don't have any. When you're Mankind, you only need reasons. If you thought the fireball was bad, I implore any women and families who love their children, don't order the pay-per-view, because I will not be held morally responsible, but I will not stop until the entire audience smells your charred flesh, feels sick to their stomach, until you are nothing but a random pile of body parts. And I kid myself not, this could very well be my last match.
Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't.
Luckily it wasn't. That'll come in a couple years. But yeah, that was pretty goddamn great. Then the lights start flickering, the Undertaker's music starts playing. And this is another situation where, Glenn, I couldn't understand a goddamn word he said. Could you?
No. It's summed up well on here. He said it's like he's in the bathroom stall backstage.
Yeah.
And he'll hoping this vault of souls and blah, blah, blah. This is the vault of souls the toilet tank?
Yeah, it's like if I took my mic and put it all the way up here, and then I went,
yeah.
And then tried to talk over that. It wouldn't fucking work. So I don't know what he said.
There's an
Yeah, it sounded like a bunch of nonsense. So I don't know what he said, but the Mankind promo was great. We then get Stone Cold Steve Austin's music play, so I guess Sid ain't here.
Oh, Sid's not there. Sadly, for a legit reason. Apparently, he had on the way to the arena, he had a bad car crash. And that was what screwed him up and basically finished his WWEF career.
So we're not going to see him anymore?
We're going to see him one more time, and then that's it. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good thing we're going to start that sideshow soon. Anyway.
Yeah, it says pretty much ended his WWF career aside from a one-off appearance before King of the Ring later in the year.
Interesting.
So, sadly, Sid is done. So, lucky we've only got a couple of episodes of the Heritage Cup left, because then we can start indulging ourselves on more Sid again.
We can get more into more ridiculous stuff like we like to
do.
These two men brawl. And when I say they brawl, they fucking brawl. Austin suplex Mankind on the ramp. But god damn it, Glenn, we had to see the Bulldog and Owen one more fucking time because now they're up in the crowd. Why? Because they're mad that Austin gets to face Bret Hart again.
Yeah.
This was the Bulldog and Owen show, wasn't it? And
Bret's been screwed again.
Yeah. Bret's always been screwed.
I wish somebody would into the ground so we don't have to see him. Him and Honky Tonk Man.
Take them together. Yeah, these guys literally beat the shit out of each other. They just fought all the way around the ring. This was a really, really good match. It was a great brawl. They literally put out all the stops in this match. It was really, really good.
There was Austin's only Mick Foley would take this when he stun gunned him onto the railing, and he sort of folded across it and then crumpled into a heap. And you think he's going to be dead, but no, not him.
Of course not. Yeah, Mankind uses chair shots. He's pulling mats up on the floor. He tries to go for a pile driver on the ramp, but Stone Cold pushes him off the ramp. The back of his head just goes slamming into the guardrail. And I've heard Mick Foley say, if you ever watch my head get slammed into a guardrail and say, how does he protect himself? He didn't. He just took it.
Yeah, he just took it.
It wasn't no protecting yourself. So eventually Owen and Bulldog make their way down to the ring to try to attack Austin, but then LOD comes running down and gives chase to Owen and Davey. Then Vader hits the ring and he tries to hit Austin, but he misses and hits Mankind instead. Then they start fighting with each other. Eventually, Paul Bearer gets cooler heads to prevail, and that's kind of how the show goes off the air.
Yeah, it was. But it is that thing, isn't it, with Mankind? He associates himself with like-minded violence.
Very true. He absolutely does.
It go back, back in the day when he was with Abdullah the Butcher. As I said, they're a kindred spirit in violence, and it's the same with Vader.
Yeah, there were times with him and Abdullah too where they would just start fighting each other, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, we just recently watched Battle Bowl, and they were a tag team there, and they started fighting each other.
Yeah, but you can understand it though. It's like with two really good mates or two brothers that they're so alike that they're going to fall out over things as well as get along with things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. That's the way what it goes, Glenn. As my grandfather used to say. Well, Glenn, that's it for this episode of Roaring to Attitude. Who do you need to plug this week before we get on out of here?
Oh, dear. We're not going to give the thumbs up or thumbs down for this one then.
Oh yeah, I think we're both going thumbs up, right?
We go for a thumbs up for this one.
Absolutely. Very good stuff this week. Like we talked about before, not a lot of great stuff happened on this show, but it had a lot of really good, entertaining stuff throughout.
Keep your eye on the Unbooking the Territory podcast because there's lots of new things coming up. They're ending their I'm booking the Takeatory, the Life and Times of Tank Abbott, and also the Gator Golf's coming towards the end as well. So they're got new fingers in new pies, apparently. So keep your eye out for them. Bang Bang Podcast with Andy, DDT with DC and Doc, and of course, it didn't drop this week, but they're sorry assures us he's going to be back next week with the Doctor Who podcast.
For those who like sci-fi, it's the Doctor Who podcast with Danny and Si. I really like it. I really enjoy doing that. I don't know why. But yeah, check out Sports Wire Radio. Give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and on the threads. We're on the threads too. Give us a follow on the threads. And make sure you check out Sports Wire Radio. I think I said that already, but make sure you check them out. We're on there every week. And give our buddy, our other person, the other member of our tag team, the Mayor of Canton, a follow on Twitter at Mayor of Canton, and check out Mule Mayor every Wednesday. And if you haven't checked out our Battle Bowl shows yet, make sure you go back and do that. Part 3 is out. And boy, we had a blast listening to doing that thing, didn't we?
Yeah.
Really
Me, Gene Oakland getting reinflated.
And if you want to know in depth what that means, make sure you check out this week's show. And make sure you check out a couple UK Heritage. We only got 4 episodes left of that thing where me and Glenn review all the UK Cup matches that took place in NXT UK. I'm getting all tangled up on my words. Now, Glenn, I think the only thing left for us to do is for you to say goodbye.
Goodbye.